What's up, guys? Brian Grant here of ContestChampion.com, and today I just wanted to announce a little bit of a different live stream. I'm going to be going through Realm of Legends, as much of it as I possibly can. I don't know if I'll be able to make it through the entire thing, as this is the 12.0 update, and this is the pre-Monday change update, or whenever they're going to release the updated version or whatever. I will be streaming on Twitch, as I have switched over to Twitch. However, if you're not able to make it there, or you just hate Twitch, in this case, because this is something a little bit more special, I will also upload this to YouTube. I don't know if I'll just straight upload the entire stream, or if I'll like fast forward certain parts. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do yet, but there'll be something uploaded to YouTube if you guys want to see how I actually do. And the stream itself is going to start relatively soon after I upload this video, maybe at like 11:30 p.m. Eastern time or something like that, sometime between like 11:30 and midnight, whenever whenever I'm ready. But I wanted to kind of just show you guys my setup here and what I'm going to be using, my masteries and my team and stuff like that. So I'm going to go in with Hulk, Guillotine, Wolverine, X23. Those are my three main champions. Then I'm also going to use Colossus and Juggernaut for synergies, and they just give crit synergies. For the actual fighting, I'm going to be using X23 for the most part, but I do want to get all of the champions involved in some capacity, so I'm going to be using X23 for Winter Soldier. I'll be using Guillotine for Captain Marvel, Hulk for Juggernaut, and then for the most part, just because I use those three, then for the most part I'm going to be going back to X23. I'm going to be using a combination of Colossus and X23 for Rhino, X23 for Storm, X23 for Vision, X23 for Black Panther, Hulk for Scarlet Witch, Guillotine for Wolverine, which I have a lot of anxiety about because, as you guys may know, I completely bombed the first time I tried to get through Realm of Legends. This was back in the end of July or the beginning of August. Can't remember exactly. I guess we could see here. Okay, August 6th this video went up. So, but I think it took me a while to edit. So I think it was like the end of July or something. In any case, I had a lot of fun with this, and I failed. I failed because I was using a 2-star Guillotine, and I know people can get through there with 2-star Guillotine, but I could not. I didn't have the skills back then, and I have a lot of anxiety now because I'm still not sure if I have the skills to this day. There was like a few months back we were doing Alliance War, and somebody used a Wolverine, and my alliance was, or my battle group was like, oh sweet, easy boss kill. Somebody just bring Guillotine, and that's a wrap. And I was like, okay, cool. I've been wanting to get over my Guillotine anxiety here for a while, so let me bring Guillotine, and turns out I failed. Now, luckily, I brought Star-Lord to that war as well, just in case I did fail again, and I was able to do it just fine with Star-Lord. So I know I'd be able to get through Wolverine with Star-Lord, but I do want to get over that anxiety with Guillotine. I have to at some point. I have to face my fears here, so I will be going at Wolverine with Guillotine. I'll be using kind of just whoever I have left over for Black Bolt here. I'll start it out with Juggernaut, see if I can bait some level 2s and stuff like that, and then just, maybe if X23 should still be alive if I get through Wolverine, right? So I'll probably go in with I'll probably go in with Guillotine again. And then Hulk will be X23. So yeah, that's my plan. Mostly being carried by X23 because she's a monster, but I am using other champions to do the other fights. Kind of the same way that I did when I first tried getting through Realm of Legends way back. I had to do it in 2 attempts because the first time I was able to get all the way up to Wolverine, like I said, and failed with Guillotine. So I had to back out, and I was using a combination of Star-Lord and Hulk, and then Black Bolt to get through Wolverine the second try. So yeah, and actually, just to give you guys some idea, if you weren't subscribed at the time when I made all these videos, I did keep track of everything spent, all the potions, all the units, all the revives and stuff like that, how many attempts it took. And it took me 19 attempts to kill Winter Soldier for the first time, and this is before the 12.0 update. So, I liked challenge back then, and it's a little bit more challenging now, but I also have a much larger roster to kind of deal with that challenge. And actually, it's not going to take me 19 attempts to get through Winter Soldier. I ended up really practicing a lot on Winter Soldier. It's where I learned how to parry. It's where I learned how to dodge and just overall boost my skills. And I ended up killing him 57 times before moving on. And I was also practicing against Captain Marvel every single time I got through him. So I was really trying to learn and study the game and everything. I ended up dying like 87 times, and these are separate. So 87 plus 57. I think that's the number of times that I actually sat there and just fought Winter Soldier over and over. So yeah, I did put a lot of time into this. It's not like I was just it's not like my skill just developed out of nowhere. Like I did actually practice a lot to get to where I am. And I'm not even saying that I'm the best player or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's, if I make it through, I don't even know if I'll be able to make it through, but if I make it through, it's not just because like I'm special or something like that. I practiced. I put the work in. When I started, I was absolutely terrible, and now I'm a little bit better at least, right? I'm not on the people's level who were able to clear Labyrinth of Legends. Even the people who can get there through there a single time, I'm not on their level, but hopefully I'm good enough to do this challenge. But we'll see. Anyway, for my mastery setup, the first half is pretty standard. The second half, I dropped my normal suicide masteries, picked up 3 out of 3 in Glass Cannon. I have 5 out of 5 in Assassin, even though I would prefer to swing 2 of the points over into Deep Wounds. But I was spending my units left and right unlocking these masteries here, and I just didn't have enough left over to max out Deep Wounds, unfortunately. The defensive masteries that I got are actually really expensive. Actually, I would have had 2 points left over for my build. I'll show you afterwards. I was going to have 5 out of 5 Assassin and 5 out of 5 Deep Wounds. But switching over to defense first. The left half is a pretty standard setup, with the exception that I have 3 out of 4 in perfect block. Normally I put those 2 extra points into stand your ground, just because they give like a decent PI boost to your champions, and I play arena a lot, so that PI boost does help the points a little bit. I have 1 point into willpower here. Normally I have 3 out of 3 for when I'm using suicides, but without them, you could definitely get away with just 1 point. Even without the suicides, it might be a good idea to put all 3 in there, but for this challenge, the champions don't really put debuffs on you for the most part, so I'm just gonna run with 1 point as a prerequisite to get to Inequity here. Inequity reduces the damage you take depending on how many debuffs you have in the opponent, so this is really going to help out when I'm using X23. It's going to help out my longevity in the fight. If I do have to block some shots and stuff like that, even with the extra damage that I'm taking in this update, I'll be reducing their damage by a significant amount. So if I have 5 bleeds on the opponent, that reduces it by 30, and then there's another debuff here that as long as I have this applied, I'll be reducing their attack by another 13%, and that'll be the 6th debuff to cap this out. So really 36 plus 13 for nearly a 50% reduction in attack attack damage that I'll be taking, depending on how the game calculates the math and stuff like that. So I have that, and for utility, I put a couple extra points in here. Normally I have 3 out of 3 into parry. Normally I only have 1 out of 3 of dexterity, and normally I only have 2 out of 3 for stupefy. But because I couldn't afford to unlock 5 out of 5 of deep wounds, I figured, what, let me throw an extra point into stupefy for a little bit extra stun duration, and this will help against champions like Juggernaut. This way I can stun him for a little bit longer while he's unstoppable and stuff like that. So put that there, and then I figured last point, I don't know where to put it. I might as well throw it into dexterity here. It was that, or I was going to put it into Pierce, or possibly one of the lesser cruelty or lesser precision masteries. But yeah, this is my setup, guys. Hopefully it'll work out. Hopefully you guys will actually be there to watch it all go down live. And if you don't feel like following me over to Twitch, once again, this is one of the few live streams that I will upload in some capacity on YouTube as well. So I'm looking forward to trying this out, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys there. Take care, guys.